What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with a discussion video. Today, Camille and I just wanted to kind of talk about the structure decks and how good they've been lately. Are they good? Are they bad? We're not saying either right away, so please wait to hear the discussion before you start telling us how much you hate us. Right, Camille?
That's right, Circus. That's right.
So we've had three lately, right? We've had the Blue Eyes one, the Stardust one, and then we got one coming up, the Gaia one, right? So where are we at with
Yep.
these things?
Well, since the end of 2020, you can even include the Noble Knight one if you so
Okay.
please, right?
All right.
Because it was pretty
Sure.
close as well. All the last two, Noble Knights and Blue Eyes, I do believe they're in their own distinct uh, category aside from the two that we're currently getting. And I think that's because I think the Blue Eyes and the Noble Knight structure decks were aimed at a specific deck and fixing one of their core weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the two decks that were like the one we just got, Stardust Nexus, and this new one, Rise of Gaia, they're kind of like making these decks playable in general. It's not so much about worrying about their weaknesses. It's bringing cards to the game that actually make these archetypes as competent as some other ones that we're using.
So, like in the
Now,
case of like Noble Knights, like the problem, like they got the Merlin, and that really helped them like special summon out Xyz monsters
yep.
and things like that. And what did
Well,
Blue
they
Eyes?
got Xyz monsters, period,
Right,
and
right.
then they, got Merlin, which sent them into more Noble Knight monsters. And Blue Eyes got the Twin Burst Dragon, which is
Okay.
a monster that's stuck on the field and provided removal not by destruction,
And
which
they
is
got the
really good for
skill,
that deck.
right?
And they got the skill
Yep.
Ultimate Dragons as well, and that just built on the deck and provided just better strategies so they weren't like weak in those areas.
So we'd
And
have
I
to.
feel like,
I was
yeah,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
both of those are probably I don't know how you'd rate them, like A plus or whatever. But I mean, they're definitely solid structure decks. Like when they were out, we were heavily recommending them when they first came out. Like these are good values, right?
Yeah, there are decks where you could buy them, play the decks themselves with little to no extra cost,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to compete because the cards that they added were aimed at fixing the deck's weaknesses. These two newer ones that we're seeing, I think they're really trying to give those archetypes a chance. It is very similar to some not so great structure decks that we've gotten in the past. You can see where they're trying to make these archetypes work,
Mm-hmm.
like Dragonities, like Gladiator Beasts, like Assault Mode. All of those structure decks are kind of just giving these archetypes that have virtually no support, the tools they need to actually become playable. And it's even though they're EX decks, they're not as focused on making them, you know, very meta relevant and fixing their weaknesses for, competitive play.
Now, when we speak like meta relevant, I know we're tournament organizers on Twitch, but even like when we're having discussions like this, a lot of times it's just, can this deck even perform on the ladder? And I know a lot of
Yeah,
people
that's
just
the
play for
important
fun.
thing.
Some people just want to play for fun, and that's cool. I get that, but like, just a good unit of measure is can it get king of games? Things like that. So I feel like the last one and maybe the deck that's coming out now, these seem like they would have been better, like really really good, like 2 years ago or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're rather, outdated strategies. They just are kind of around special summoning and normal summoning, not using the extra deck in a way that of which they're trying to promote now.
Hmm.
You getting multiple monsters out from archetype, searching, doing stuff like that. And
Well,
yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
well, it just seemed like the newest one. We did a little play testing, but it seemed like the boss monsters and like other things that you might put into the deck, like they don't seem like they do a whole lot on their own. You know what I mean? Like you got to put in like just a ton of back row to keep the deck
Yeah,
alive. You know.
yeah, the effects are kind of reactive
Hmm.
and they don't help you uh
Deal with
disrupt
your
your
opponent.
opponent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't help you disrupt your opponent, which is a key thing that a lot of these fledgling decks are missing, and it prevents them from, being good because they have to depend on Mystical Space Typhoon, Book of Moon
Because
to
that's kind
disrupt
of
their opponent.
where the good decks now are kind of going, right? Like your monster effects can really carry your deck, or you need them to.
Mhm.
Like Cyber Slash Harpy later, perfect example. You can book a moon, you can flip one monster down, you can return another one to the hand or whatever. So you're getting a lot of value off your cards. Whereas these, it just seems like uh, the effects just aren't as good enough to carry the deck. Like Cyber Slash Harpy Lady can just carry that deck. Whereas it doesn't seem like Gaia, the whatever version of Gaia is in this deck isn't going to be enough to carry the deck, you know?
Gaia, the magical dragon knight.
There you go.
Yeah, he is. It's pretty convoluted, his effect. It is nice that it can become a 5,200 attack point monster. And, you know, that is very similar to the Stardust deck. Like, it is very nice that this 3,300 attack point monster can attack 5 times. But, you know, how many duels is that going to win you? You know, how many duels is your core gameplay loop going to be enough versus, you know, like you said, a deck like Harpies or Resonators that has a much easier time of, you know, disrupting you than this deck will.
Because it seemed like, you know, with the Blue Eyes deck, we can use that as an example. Like, they'd bring out, was it the Twin Burst Dragon? And most of the time, you're like, oh, crap, now I got to deal with this. And you're like, how am I going to deal with it? I can't let it touch one of my monsters because it's going to banish it or whatever. And then, you know, it's kind of the same thing with Noble Knights when they'd bring out, Artorigius. I always say that wrong, the rank 5. It's like, oh, man, if I just kill this thing, it's just going to summon another one, which is going to summon another one. You know, they had a lot of impact on the field. The Gaias don't seem like they do that. You know what I mean? Like like you're not scared. You're not going to be scared of Gaia coming out on the field.
Yeah, their interruption is more it's more reactive. Like, yes, it is a quick effect, and that is usually very nice, but that is the deck. The deck is that quick play, that quick effect destruction that you can only activate as long as you have attack points to sacrifice. And I feel like if that is all your deck does at the peak of its strategy, when you've got all your pieces together, that is just not enough. You know, even Blue Eyes and Noble Knights did more than that when they were, you know, when you had all your pieces going off. You know, you could go into your Artorigus, make other monsters with your traps in the grave, stuff like that.
So
this deck's just gonna have a tougher time doing that.
So do you think this is just kind of a trend we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see, you know, some strong decks and then weak decks, or, you know what I mean? Because, like, we got 2 really good ones. Now we're getting 2 okay ones. Are we going to see better ones in the future, or are we going to see more support in boxes? What is Konami doing here, you know?
I think how they're going, evidently, based on how they did things this time around, the structure decks that were very impactful on the game were released both right around the beginning of the new year and at a promotional date. So I do think that structure decks that are, you know, premier and going to have an effect on the game for a while are going to be reserved for those times.
Okay, that makes sense.
Not every EX structure deck is going to be a banger, and then you can start hitting those main boxes for your meta relevant cards for the rest of the year, because, you know, like we said last year, only the Blue Eyes or only the Noble Knights EX structure was really good. It took the Fire Kings structure deck all the way until this year, a couple months ago, to really hit, you know, where some of these other ones started out at. You know, Blue Eyes and Noble Knights took them a very long time to get there.
Yeah, I always thought when you had that EX on there, that was like a stamp of approval, like meta relevant. You know what I mean?
I mean, there were many, many bad EX structure decks, you know, and that only proves to the testament that ones like these that just do not have what it takes can come around, and, you know, you don't have to force it. You know, of course, we'll see. I heard you and Herford doing some deck testing, so we'll see just how it shapes up to everything else.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see. So I would say, again, wait. It's not even out yet, but I would say this.
It's not
even out yet. And I would say,
but
give
the
it a
thing
hard
is, you know,
skip,
we have what we need, right? We have the new cards, the names of them. The stuff we have in Duel Links it's not very impactful on its own. And if these cards are going to be the pinnacle of your strategy, I don't think they are really doing it.
So I guess I'm always really cautious when people say, do you recommend this? Because it's like, I want to know it's going to be good for more than just a week or a month or whatever. Because I feel like Stardust was that deck that was good for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? We saw it a little bit.
It was the new hotness. It didn't even win anything.
Well, not even just tournaments, but like we do the popularity rankings or whatever in a video series too, where we take a look at what's hot on the ladder. And Stardust is completely fallen off. It was way up there one week, and then the next week it just completely drops off. You know, so people like got it right away as the new hotness, and then it was just like this is garbage, and they just got rid of it. You know,
Yeah.
so it's really hard when people are like would you get this, and it's like probably not. I want to see those cards in that popularity ranking for a good month or two before I feel like okay, this is safe. You know.
That's a very good point. You know, especially when they are putting out structure decks so quickly like this.
Right.
After the last one was not so great, and this one is a structure deck, not Xyz, fusion monsters, many moving pieces on the field at once, very interruptible. It may not be such a good idea. You know, you can use your intuition and
Right.
wait a little. I would definitely be very cautious about it.
All right. Let
About
us.
any structure that comes out around this time.
True. True. That's why we do these videos to talk about that.
Exactly.
All right, so let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you going to get into the structure deck? We did a poll earlier today, and 72% of the people said they are not excited for this structure deck to come out. So are you one of those 72%? Let us know in the comments, and let us know how you feel about it. But in the meantime, you should get in our Discord. You know why, Kamel? Because it's free. The tournaments are free. New player help is free.
That's right.
Right. We're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Kamel.
Peace out, guys.
And we'll see you next time.